The San Francisco 49ers beat the Cardinals so bad today, I feel like we needed this Texas A&M police officer to beat down and arrest the 49ers players so we had a chance of possibly winning today. Sadly, he, just like the Cardinals defense, was nowhere to be found. Welcome in once again, friends. Just 1 second, let me just... The Arizona Cardinals got beat down by a division rival for the second straight week in a row. Within the first 5 minutes and 9 seconds of the game, they ended up being down 13-0, and the 49ers showed no signs of stopping. They ended up having a 25-10 lead at the half, and any hope of a Cardinals victory was swiped out the window when in the third quarter they ended up having a 35-10 lead. I don't know where to start. The Cardinals were the definition of going all the way down the field just to turn the ball over, and they kept doing that all game long. Here's a picture of a Cardinal. The Cardinals did hit a new franchise record today, and congratulations to the Arizona Cardinals for doing that. Just a second before I tell you about it. Today's video is brought to you by crippling depression.
I have crippling depression.
The new record that the Arizona Cardinals now have is that they get the most penalties in one game that they've ever gotten in an entire single game, with 17 penalties for 130 yards today. Their previous high was obviously 16, which they passed by 1 today. At least 17 is one of my favorite numbers.
I pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
On the other side of the football, the 49ers had a lot of penalties as well, with 1 penalty. Yeah, the 49ers had 1 penalty for 15 yards, and the Cardinals had 17 penalties for 130 yards. The Cardinals also had a -3 turnover differential because they threw 2 interceptions and they fumbled the ball away once. The fumble happened at the goal line after an incredibly long drive. Brissett had 2 interceptions thrown, but can you blame the guy? The offensive line has looked awful all season. Brissett set a new NFL record for pass completions in a single game with 47. It was just a record-setting kind of game for the Cardinals. He went 47 of 57 for 452 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The Cardinals also held the ball 9 minutes longer than the 49ers with 34-minute time of possession versus 25-minute time of possession on the game. They had more total yards and passing yards than the 49ers as well. And they went 6 of 14, which isn't the best on third down, but it's better than the 49ers 3 for 9 on third down. But the 49ers didn't really need to convert any third downs because they already were converting first downs on first and second down. Neither team went for it on fourth down today. The 49ers never had a need to because they were already in the end zone before any drive ever got to fourth down, and the Cardinals didn't need to because, well, they never were in position to go for it because they had to punt or they just gave the ball back to the 49ers. I think the difference in this game was the 3 turnovers for the Cardinals and the fact that the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. The 49ers had 0 turnovers and practically scored on every single possession of the game, whereas the Cardinals had 3 turnovers that if you take those back and put them into touchdowns, they actually end up winning the game by a couple points. None of the running backs did literally anything in this game, but boy did Michael Wilson have an absolutely amazing career game. With Marvin Harrison Jr. out because of appendicitis, Michael Wilson had 15 catches for 185 yards. That's an average of 12.3 yards a catch, and Trey McBride had 10 catches for 115 yards, which is an average of 11.5 yards a catch, and he had yet another touchdown. The defense was terrible today. They only had 1 sack, which was a Josh Sweat sack that meant nothing. They forced 0 turnovers all day long, and I know that we have more good players than that, and we really have not been forcing any turnovers all year long. That's been a big problem for the Cardinals defense. We are really good at forcing a turnover and then fumbling it backwards into our own end zone for a touchdown, though. We also had Calais Campbell, the veteran, getting called for leverage.
With the right leverage and the proper application of strength, the door will lift free.
On the kick by Pinheiro at the end of the first half, which then led to him having a second opportunity to kick the football, and of course he pinned it right into the middle of the uprights. Christian McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air, and George Kittle had 2 through the air. For some reason, we can just never stop George Kittle, and we're on pace this year to win 0 games against division rivals. We're 0-2 against the Seahawks, and now we're 0-2 against the Niners. And with how the Rams look this year after just beating the Seahawks, who whooped up on us last last week, we're primed to go 0-2 against the Rams this year too. Heck, I don't think Carson Palmer or Kurt Warner would be doing good in this offense right now. Like I said in my last week, Cardinals fans during the Seahawks game video, get an O-line and 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 an O-line in this next year's draft. Next week, I'm going to have a Camelback strapped full of beer, and I'm just going to keep it in my mouth the whole game so I can just slowly suck away my pain. The Cardinals and the 49ers are really similar teams if you think about it. Both are riddled with injuries and have been riddled with injuries all season long, but the 49ers are the team that has found a way to get the wins even though their team has been riddled with injuries, and today they did exactly what they needed to do. Our defense could not figure out a single way to stop them, and our offense was moving the ball downfield with relative ease but kept turning it over or missing a field goal or whatever we needed at a specific time. The Cardinals season is officially over. Our chances of making a playoff game have gone to next to zero, if they weren't already zero before this. If I didn't think the Cardinals coaching staff needed to be let go after the Cowboys game this season, I definitely think they need to be let go now after the last two games against the Seahawks and 49ers. It's clear that Jonathan Gannon can't win with Kyler Murray, and he also cannot win with Jacoby Brissett. And it's clear that no matter what the scheme is for our defense that has so many talented players on it, we still can't seem to stop anybody unless their name is Dak Prescott. How about them Cowboys, by the way? How are you feeling in Dallas? If we whooped your butts and then we're playing this bad against everybody else? The only teams the Cardinals have beaten this year are the Saints, who are awful, the Panthers, who have ended up being pretty decent but were awful to start the year, and the Cowboys, who are awful. And at this point, all the Cardinals can hope for is the highest draft pick possible to hopefully be able to draft a quarterback in the first round, and please pick the correct one this time, and then offensive linemen for the final 6 rounds. It almost seemed like it was a home game for the 49ers today. That's something you don't see with good fan bases. You don't see a stadium get overrun by opposing teams' fans, and I know there's a lot of transplants in Arizona from different states, especially from California, a lot of fans from Chicago, a lot of people from New York. I understand that, but if you're winning or losing, you gotta represent your team in the stadium. If the Broncos suck out here in Colorado, the stadium is always orange and blue. Even when the Chiefs have been whooping up on them for years, still today when they just finally beat the Chiefs, the stadium was covered in orange and it was hard to find red anywhere because their fans are loyal. It felt like the 49ers home away from home here today, and I think Cardinals fans need to step up, but at the same time, I also see it from the fans' point of view. If the team's never gonna be good for you, then why should you be good for them? Why should you have to show up if your team's gonna suck? The 49ers have earned it. They've been contenders many years. The Broncos have earned it. They've won Super Bowls. They've made a name for themselves. They're a storied franchise. What do the Cardinals have to show for it except for a Super Bowl appearance, a couple NFC Championship appearances, and a whole bunch of losing? Here's to you Cardinals fans out there who are watching this video after this depressing game. We have the Jaguars next week, who just dismantled the Chargers, so you might need more of these in your fridge by next week. Just trying to look out for my fellow Cardinals fans out there. Of course, unless you're underage, in which case I say you pack up on a bunch of Capri Suns and drown your sorrows with those instead. My Cardinals fans during the Seahawks game video from last week is almost at 11,000 views. Big thank you to all of you who watched that video. Absolutely amazing that it's hit that many watch hours and that many views. You guys are the best. Keep it up. Thank you for the love and support. You make me want to keep posting and keep doing this stuff when you guys show all the love that you're giving me. And during this horrible season, I really need it. Also, big shout out to really nice Seahawks fans who hopped into the comments last week. You guys are absolutely amazing. Super sorry we couldn't beat the 49ers for you this week. If you're a 49ers fan, congratulations. Your team just keeps winning even though your team is completely riddled with injuries. Our team's riddled with injuries, but we can't figure out how to win. Until then, I'll see you guys with my next video soon about the Arizona Cardinals fans during the 49ers game from week 11. Looks like I'm all out over here, so I'm going to go ahead and get a refill. Until my next video, be sure you hit that subscribe button because subscribing is free, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.